Welcome to our podcast. I'm Stacey Donadio.
And I'm Shannon Fasone from Turnkey Women,
where we're opening doors for women in business.
Cheers.
Welcome to the Turnkey Women's Podcast. We are your hosts, Stacey Donadio and Shannon Fasone. And today in the studio, we have with us Kelli from the Emma Grace blog. You probably follow her on Instagram. I do.
I hope so.
I have an Amazon shopping addiction thanks to you. So welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, for sure. Wait, so if people already aren't following you, give us your exact handle so that they can start to follow you and follow up with what you have going on.
So it's at Emma_Grace_blog.
And we'll tag you below so that it'll run the course of the podcast so people can start to see what you have going on, which always leads us to
shopping.
What you got going on, Kelli?
Oh my gosh.
What's up, girl?
Going on?
So how did you start with the blog?
Or Instagram? Or
Instagram.
How did it start?
Where did it
first,
start?
The chicken or the egg?
Okay.
Right.
So to be honest, I'll be 40 next week. And
Happy
we
birthday.
thank you. We didn't have Instagram. Right? Like
we did not.
Like I teach high school and like I'm watching all these kids. We didn't have any of that. So I might have gone on when it first came out and would post a picture of me in the city and I'd put a filter on it and then I would walk away and forget about it. And it really wasn't until I would say probably around COVID that I started to discover like influencers and it just kind of like kept me busy. And prior to that, I had 2 kids. They were at this point, I would say 1 and 3. So I was very busy.
In the
anyway.
weeds.
I was
teaching.
working. I was teaching. And so I didn't really think much about it. And then coming up into COVID, we shut down March 15th. I delivered my last son on April 29th, so he'll be 4 on Monday.
Wow.
And it went south. His birth went really, really south. And it resulted in transferring him from Riverview to Jersey Shore Hospital. And he had to undergo a whole litany of treatments and transfusions and you name it. He did the cooling therapy for 3 days, and then you rewarm him over the course of time. And not knowing any of this, and I had 2 normal births, and he was an emergency C-section, which I'd never had before. And I know people have it all the time, but I feel like when you go into something expecting something
Totally
very different,
yes.
And you're like, oh, I've done this.
I've done it.
Right.
I was making jokes that I didn't want my husband staying with me this time because I didn't want to hear him complain about his back with the chair, right? I was like, come for the birth,
I'm having
go
deja
home,
vu.
hang out with the kids, and I'll enjoy my
coffee and
Frosties.
bed.
Yeah, exactly. And, I was ready to go, naturally, and I had been induced, and we were there, and then something just went really wrong. And so it ended up this way. And I walked myself out of the hospital the next day, 23 hours later, because I needed to get up now to this other hospital to see the kid. And so I couldn't.
Surgery within 23 hours of surgery.
Yeah. It's interesting.
What moms can do.
The things that they make you do when you have a very normal delivery in order to leave the hospital versus what they required of me in this moment, I guess, because it was COVID and they kind of wanted you out. It was very different.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even.
It was a lot
That
less
didn't even
restrictive.
enter. We didn't have COVID births, so
Right.
wow,
So
it's
they kicked you out.
totally different.
So they didn't. They actually encouraged me to stay for 4 days, considering what had gone on and how it went down. But they said, however, we obviously can't hold you here. So if you do want to leave, all you have to do is go
Sign
pee in a
yourself,
cup,
yeah.
and that was
Literally,
it.
pee in a cup.
So I walked myself out. I couldn't sit, I couldn't drive, it was anything, and I was so swollen. I had no idea like that happened to your body. I was just so swollen.
I've had 2, so yes.
Yeah.
It was like,
and
it hurts.
It was bad. And so here I am, because I had just found these influencers prior to going in, and it was COVID. So I had just purchased this really expensive, like blue and gray, like really chic matching jumpsuit.
The softest.
Oh, so soft.
Yes.
It was navy blue. I was going to look so good. I had like gray running shoes, and I got a size small, my normal size. And how I normally bounce back after deliveries, I was like, this is good. And then I went to put it on leaving, and I looked like Tim Allen from the Santa Claus. You know that scene, right?
Yes.
And it was just not good. And that was my first realization, like, oh my gosh. So I get home and I'm already sad. I went to get myself dressed. I opened up the bag. I saw the baby's going home clothes. He's gone. My husband's not even here because he left to follow the baby. The hospital wouldn't let him back in. So I was literally completely alone. I ate my feelings when the doctor gave me clearance, and then I violently threw it all up 2 times with this. It was like just a nightmare.
What a nightmare.
So I get home and I go to shower, and the shower curtain falls on me, and then I'm like ripping through my clothes, just trying to find something on because I'm just frantic to get up to the hospital to see him, and nothing was fitting me. Literally nothing. I had nothing in my wardrobe that would fit my body. And it wasn't about the superficial aspect of it. It was literally the things won't go over my thighs for me to get dressed to go see my baby. So I ended up obviously finding something, and I get up there, and then they wouldn't let you stay. Like normal NICU rules did not apply again because of COVID. My husband and I had to take turns in the hospital. They wouldn't even let us go in the hospital together, so he dropped me off at the front door. And so when I would go home at night, they started me pumping in the hospital, and I was sending everything in to the NICU. So I would go home and I was pumping around the clock, and the only thing I had was the camera that they would put on him, which most nights, of course, would not be on him. And I fully understand. You're taking care of him. You're saving his life, quite literally. Like I know that that's not what you're worrying about, but it's all I had.
Right.
So as I'm sitting up at all hours of the night, every 3 hours pumping, and that wasn't working, I put on Instagram. And I started just looking at this one blogger, Almost Ready blog, Amanda. She's out in Cincinnati.
I saw you shout her out.
I do, because
post.
I don't think she has any idea, but honestly, I feel like that is who did it for me, because the first thing I thought when I saw her was, she looks like me. She's a size 00 and I'm an 8. But other than that, she looks like me. Like, she's 5'2". She's got the blonde hair.
This is so weird. I literally had the same thoughts looking at yours. I'm like, oh, she's 5'3". I'm 5'2". Oh, I'm not going to shout out your weight, but I was like, I'm a little more. It's blasted all over, right? And I was like, oh, I can. But you look so good in all your clothes that I literally had that thought about you looking at yours when she said, I want to get an Emma Grace blog on our podcast.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it
Full
means
circle.
a lot.
That just gave me goosebumps. I literally had the same thoughts, like not even bullshitting.
That's amazing. I mean, that's, and so that's going to lead me into then why I started, actually, because some people would be like, oh, that's so superficial. Like, it wasn't about the clothes. It was about, we were in this era of COVID. She was, I'm dealing with this incident that, not a lot of other people are dealing with in the moment. Like, like I've heard of like the horror COVID birth stories because it was just annoying to be in the hospital in that moment. But like, it was just like next level for me, you know? And in the midst of it all, too, it was literally March 15th. This was April 29th. No one knew yet that we could function with it. So we were still shutting out grandparents. I had to let my mother-in-law in the house to take care of my kids because I had literally my one girlfriend coming over while I delivered, and then my husband was going to very seriously come home and relieve her. I did not have a backup plan for care. So now mentally I had to also be like, oh my God, I don't know where she's been or what she's been, because we were still very freaked out.
With a newborn. Going through all of this.
So that was the thing. I would go home at night and I would lay down and his bassinet was empty by the side of the bed. And like, I could have very easily recoiled and just gone into a depression and sat, but I'm like, I have these 2 kids downstairs. Like, I have to be positive. I have to be strong. I have to get up there every day. I started pumping up there, was doing the whole thing. But so I would watch her at night in my spare time. And, she was always just putting out the new Target loungewear, like, era of loungewear. It was what we were all doing. And I was like, amazing, like nothing fits me. And I was able to then put on these Target sets and they fit me. So I didn't have to worry about that. I felt good in my body because, like, on top of everything else, I felt like just, like
not you.
Out of your sorts.
Quite literally an out-of-body experience, right? So it made me feel good because I felt like I looked better than what was actually going on underneath. And it just kind of gave me that little pep to like keep going. Like I was just like, all right, suck it up. Like this is it. And it was mindless, so mindless, not superficial, mindless. And it was something that locked me in for that half hour of pumping,
numbing your brain.
Black. Yeah, exactly.
Numbing
and then I
your
could
brain.
just go to sleep because I was tired. And
your eyes are tired from looking at it.
Yeah.
That's reality TV for me. It just numbs me.
I mean,
it's just so bad. It's numbing.
Last night I couldn't go to sleep. I tried really hard, and I just couldn't do it. I just started shopping. I went on Amazon, and I'm like, it's just it was the scrolling, and then I felt my eyes get heavy, and I was like, okay, now I can just put it down.
And then 2 days later, something shows up, and I'm like, ooh, what's this?
I remember that.
I always forget.
Always, it shows up, and I'm like,
what did I do?
Wow.
I'll pull up after work, and I'm like, God, what did I do?
It's almost
Why
like the
am I
drunk
this
ordering.
way?
Like you have 2 glasses of wine, and you're just
yes,
like, ooh.
yes.
I may or may not have done that with surf camp the other day.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love that.
I don't.
It's like, forget counting sheep. We are Amazon shopping.
Yeah, we are doing this.
No, totally.
Yeah, I get that.
So now you're watching her, and you decide I'm gonna.
So I'm watching her. She's getting me through the night, and then, it was a very wild, for as dramatic as it was, and I literally spared you all the details. It was 15 days from start to finish. So as quickly as it went down, it actually turned and came back up.
Okay.
And they prolonged it a couple days. It was starting to get me aggravated, but eventually we got him home. And I remember FaceTiming my principal from the NICU, nursing him. He has to get downgraded. Jersey Shore is kind of cool. There's like 3 high-risk NICUs.
Yeah.
And you go from the critical one, and then you get like demoted. And every one that you go down is a better sign.
And you graduate.
Because you need less and less care, right?
Yeah.
So I was in
the
last one. And I remember nursing him, and I was FaceTiming her, and she's like, "Oh, she knew everything was going on." And then fast forward, I have him home, and I get a Zoom from her, and she tells me that I lost my job. So I had my maternity leave was running me out till the end of the year anyway.
Right.
But there was just like a mix-up. They lost a lot of their money. They were cutting positions, and she was retiring, so she didn't go to this like roundtable meeting where she could have been like, Kelly's coming back. We're good here. They thought I left. Like teaching, and no one was there to be like, no, she's here.
Isn't that like
so?
A
There's
lawsuit?
I was going to say that sounds wrongful
well,
termination.
I wasn't tenured, so technically they could have fired me because my eyes were blue,
Right.
But so now here I am, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of packages coming to the door, and there's really no reason for me to be depressed anymore. So like, I've got to stop spending this money. And I'm super creative. I'm an art teacher. I went to school for art, but I did graphic design first. I've worked in high fashion in Manhattan before I decided to actually go back alternate route to teach. And I really have a passion for it, and I'm just super creative. So and I like working with my hands. Like I tiled all my own bathroom floors. I love to do anything I can. And my husband is an entertainment insurance broker, but he's actually wildly handy. So I'll be like, oh, I'd like a sliding barn door here, please. And then he'll just whip it up. Like,
love that.
We
What
figure
a
it
duo.
out. Yeah.
That's what I am in my head. I'm that video where it goes, and its song goes like me, and then you come on and you're like, la. That's what that feels like to me.
I mean, listen, we definitely make our mistakes and stuff, but
so you know what I mean. It's cool.
And
it's a very cool thing to see somebody who can do start to finish, and it's like amazing.
Thank you.
But approachable.
Thanks.
Totally approachable. I looked at all of your feeds, and when you were trying these outfits on, I'm like, I feel comfortable with what she's putting on, and not like I'm trying to be something that doesn't fit who I feel like I am.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny, actually, because I said I have this history with high fashion, and I do. I have a passion for fashion. But what most people don't know, because it was a very gradual and natural process, but what people don't really know is that I actually started the blog based on our home, because we had also just finished renovating it when the shutdown happened.
Okay.
Like I was staining my ceiling beams 9 months pregnant. Like we were just really in the thick of it.
So was it like your home renovation journey blog?
Right. It was my I want to be Joanna Gaines era.
Yes,
you know
yes.
what I mean?
Everybody has that.
Yeah. Yep. And I still, to this day, I love her. I'm not hardcore modern farmhouse. My husband makes fun of me because I say I'm a coastal modern farmhouse.
Yes.
Like I'm born and raised down at the Jersey Shore. I lived in Hoboken for like over a decade. So I have that like city appreciation.
Yeah.
I love that kind of urban feel.
Yeah.
Like the clean,
like metropolitan.
minimalistic. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like metals and just simplicity. And then I like my coastal. I have driftwood that I found on the beach, like hanging all over my house. So it's a fusion, but so that is how we started, was really with our home renovation projects. And then in order to fill lulls, because you can only shiplap so many walls and you can only do like minor major construction, so often, I started just posting what I was wearing. And then before I knew it, I ended up getting a partnership with Express and Fabletics and these companies that then required me to have like monthly obligations of posting. And then it became a fusion of both. But then over the course of time, we really hit a lull because we kind of did everything we could do to our house in this moment. And I'm just not, like, I can't look at my shelf and like film how I styled my shelf. Like I want to do like big stuff, like rooms, like furniture, rugs, like I like that kind of a thing. So I like leaned in more towards the fashion, and then that really just took off. So what's unfortunate is if you scroll through quite a ways, it looks like I'm only fashion, but as soon as you get back far enough, you will see my home as well. And they like meld together perfectly.
Yeah.
Like how I dress is what my home looks like.
Yeah.
It's all neutrals.
Yeah.
It's all very classic and timeless and simple because I don't want anything to ever feel like, oh my gosh, I put my all into this, or I spent so much money on this backsplash and now it's out. Like it was trendy and now you can tell that I did it in 2022 or something, So I really try to steer people in a way where it feels modern, but it's timeless and classic.
Yeah. Timeless.
You nail it too. I mean, and especially in all of your clothing choices.
Thanks.
So when did you realize that like you had something and like people were paying attention to you and you were an influencer?
Oh my God, February.
Of this year?
Wait, just this past February?
Yes.
Stacey's been talking about you longer than that.
Yes.
And
I think just to your face.
I appreciate you because I will tell you, I felt like the struggle is real. And I remember when I was starting off, I mean, my personality, I am like, I wouldn't say that it's like addictive. It's like the drive.
Motivated.
Motivated. If I say I'm going to do something,
And
it is happening. It is happening. I will get the job. I will execute this project. I will land this partnership. Like, it's just how I work. And I don't stop. I'm very uncomfortable resting, although that's all I ever say I want to do. But in the end, realistically,
You'll fill that resting time. Yeah.
And so I felt like for 3 years, I just kind of sat stagnant at like 10K, 12K, 13K.
Which is still like amazing.
I guess, but
She goes, I guess.
it's not like, I'm going to be the first to say you should never compare yourself, but it's all we do all day, right?
Especially on social media.
So I look at all these people, and I also looked at bloggers that were, with me and boomed to 300,000. And I'm like, how? Like, and I think their content's amazing. So I don't mean like, how is that? But like, I just mean like,
why isn't that happening over
Yeah.
here?
Right.
Yeah. I know what I'm
So-
doing has like real merit and value.
And looking back, you always see things that you're like, oh, my quality was kind of crap, or like, I was like all over the place.
We're
My
always our
lighting
harshest
sucks,
critic.
like whatever.
Yeah.
And being the graphics person, like I look at all of that. I look at the rule of thirds when I'm filming. I look like I'm such a loser. Like I'm such an art nerd behind all of this, which is why I have such a high appreciation for how it all works on the back end. The video editing, like it's very interesting to me.
Very
I
detail
really love doing
oriented
it.
and
And I am OCD like to the nth degree. And then I don't really remember much from like that 13,000 to like 30,000 mark. All I remember is I felt like I woke up one day on like a February like Saturday, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have 30,000 followers. Like, when did that happen? And then I blinked and I was gaining like 1,000 followers a day.
wow.
Amazing.
And then I would hit a lull and it would go down and I'd be like, oh my God, like that was it. That was my time. And then it would come back up again. And then I didn't think the trajectory would be so quickly. I actually had these big plans to order my balloons and, for 30,000, and I forget where I went, but it didn't work out. Like I missed the mark because I actually hit 30,000 before that. Like I could order them on Amazon, but I never thought in a million years that I would get like 250 followers in 2 days.
That's awesome.
Because that has never happened to me before. And then I was going to celebrate 40 for 40. And I just went to Disney alone.
I'm going to start celebrating. I'm going to do this.
I love that.
Yeah, we did like she was turning 62, I'm turning 40, and we went down for my spring break, and we took the kids in November, and I was like, box checked. And I just went down with her, and we had the best time ever. We're not like super Disney enthusiasts. We didn't do any rides. We really just kind of enjoyed the property and walking around Epcot and like drinking and just kind of like
There's a lot
doing
to
what
do.
we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I was going to do 40 for 40 down there, thinking, oh, I'll hit 40,000 when I get, and then I hit it before I got there, and then I hit 50,000. I think before I came back, and that like it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But
once it goes, it like goes.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it keeps going.
It
but
will.
it has nowhere else to go but up.
But what
just goes up
is
up,
really important to me, and I need to say this for anyone who is listening to me, piggybacking on what you just said, now that I'm reaching so many more people, I have had people come out of the woodwork and say very specifically to me, I'm so happy that I found somebody that is exactly my height and weight and body type, because it is true. I mean, even for me, you know, I'm built like a square. Like, I know somebody once put a GIF of SpongeBob SquarePants on my Facebook friends are so lovely. I wouldn't consider that one a friend, I guess, but... And I was like, I know that I'm built like a box. Like, you don't have to tell me that. Like, I'm 5'2". My husband says 5'3", so I rate 5'3". I don't know. But, like, yeah, I'm short and I'm mid-size, basically. You know, most 5'2" people you see are a size 0. So I'm like, oh, my gosh, that looks amazing. And then I put it on and I'm like, oh, like, what happened there?
Every day of my life.
You know?
And the transition from skinny jean to it was on a short girl. Like, I'm still...
She's very upset about it.
The biggest struggle I've ever had to deal with.
I went all in on the wide leg mom jean 90s style because I also put on 15 pounds. Like I told you that 4 years ago, I was buying size smalls to leave the hospital. I was after my kids, I went down. I gained 50 pounds with my kids, and I lost all 50. I was 130 and pretty tight. Yeah, and something happened to me in this past year, maybe a half year to a year. I've been holding steady now on this new weight, but I would say from age, I don't know, 2.5 to 3.5 of my youngest son, maybe. If I'm turning 40, whatever it is, hormonally, I gained 15 pounds.
Dude, I hear you.
I'm just riding hard at that. Like 143, I looked the other day, I was 146. I moved the scale because I was convinced maybe it was like on a wobbly part of my floor.
I moved my scale to the garbage.
You're smart.
Because I gained 30 pounds in 2 years. Like I was a small. My favorite thing, one of you you posted it months ago, and you were like, "I'm a size 8 trying to be a size 6." And I'm like,
"Yeah," because that was my transition period. That was like like all last year I bought 6s, and I'm pulling out my summer clothes now.
Same.
And I can't get any of them over my hips.
Or if you get them on, it just looks like trash. No. Like you're like, "What am I trying to do?"
And the worst part is I'm still ordering that size.
Where did this come
from?
I never had this.
It's this also
for me.
And right here.
It's not good.
And now my butt has a butt, which I didn't know could happen because it was big to begin with, and now it has its own butt.
Wrong podcast to be sitting in on. Everything on me just hangs.
Yeah,
I actually have zero muscle tone. Zero. People comment on my abs, like if I am wearing.
You do look like you have great abs, though.
You look amazing.
Do you airbrush them on?
You're here. I'll let you feel it. I do not airbrush them on. It is fat pockets. It is actually like
well-placed fat pockets.
Yeah,
that's the secret.
There's like these 2 concave areas here, and then there's this extra chub on the side, and my abs actually like. They stick out a little bit more. So I guess on the camera, it appears as I have like this really nice, like
it does
1 pack of sorts, right? And it's not. It's all mouchade. And I need people to know that because, like, if you are comparing yourself to that, like, it is so not the case.
I love that you're saying it, though. Like, not that shows confidence. That shows like you are really comfortable in your own skin.
But see, the funny thing is, it's like I am and I'm not, right?
I get that.
Do I want to have spillage over every waistline? No. But I am convinced that right now this is where I'm supposed to be. I mean, I decided to do this. It is turning into something. It provides me with so many benefits, not just monetarily, but creativity-wise. The motivation to do the project, right? Because if I'm held to, and like also, I would like to notate that just real quick, like a little disclaimer. I never promote anything that I haven't usually sought out. Like, people will come to me and pitch me things all the time. And if it doesn't fit my brand or my lifestyle or anything, like, that sounds so annoying to say, like, it doesn't fit my brand.
No.
But very seriously, like, I'm so sorry. Like, it's not me. I can't do this.
You wouldn't sell it. When it's not true to who you are, how do you get up there and talk about it? It's not even about the end result. It's like, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. It has to be authentic to me.
You said it.
Oh, God.
I didn't say
Sorry.
it. She said it.
You're lucky we don't have a bottle of vodka here. We'd all have to drink right now.
God. I would do it.
3 in the afternoon, we thought, Marty, but Stacey thinks that word.
No, I just think it's not
A buzzword.
You. It's me.
It's
Yeah.
It's just
Genuine. Can we say
every
genuine?
and no, you
We've
can say whatever
talked
you
about,
want.
yeah.
We just
I
laugh all
say
the time 'cause
authentic
I'm like,
all
I will
the
never
time.
say authentic.
Not a bullshitter. It's
I'm
like,
gonna be my authentic self.
oh, yeah.
Well,
No,
yeah.
I mean,
No,
I'm
no, but I know
I'm
what you
real. I'm real.
You
I'm
are real.
Yeah.
You know?
And you've built your brand, and I mean, it's like I can see things, and because you're gonna think I'm like a stalker, and I'm like,
No, I love
I'm
it.
like Kelly would wear that. I'm surprised I haven't seen. You had this really cool like camel coat from Amazon, but it wasn't a coat; it was like a sweater cardigan
Yep.
with like a blue button-up shirt.
Yep.
And I bought the whole thing, the belts, the whole nine,
The
except
loafers?
for the.
Did you
I
get the
didn't. I had the
loafers?
loafers.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I
She
have
loves a
those
good
loafers
loafer.
in
I
every
do.
color.
Yeah, they're great.
And
She
they're-
loves a
They're like $30.
Yes.
And their quality, I've had them for years. I actually bought the 2 new colors this year, but because I've had the other color for 3 years, and it's like they hold up great.
Yeah.
It's just such a comfortable show.
It is.
But yeah, I know.
The whole
exactly
outfit is
you're
like
talking
great, and
about.
you taught us how to tuck in the shirt so that
thank
there's no
you.
bulge down here.
I get ridiculed for my front tuck, but let me tell you,
It's
it is.
listen, it solves the problem.
You have that's the thing. And so going back to the boxy wide leg jeans, I now have the C-section shelf.
Yep. All of the above.
The C-section shelf.
Yes.
And
I can't even
crazy
talk
things are
about
happening
it.
down there, and I can't put on a bikini like I could before
No.
or leggings.
The hang of it all
never
is-
share leggings
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you see a lot down here. And I don't
Uh-huh.
like that, so I
Yep.
love a trouser. Pleats hide a multitude of sins.
Skirt.
Yep.
A skirt just
Skirt.
goes flat
Yeah.
against it. It never hits anything else but my skirt.
That is nice. I'm always freezing,
Except I don't like.
so I don't do a whole lot of dresses and skirts.
yes.
Because I need full coverage.
Which is why the boyfriend is so tough for me, because if I don't cut it, then it looks weird when it's to the floor. Like I feel like I'm a little kid or something. But when I cut
So-
it, it's cute. But then my ankles are cold if it's not warm out.
yeah,
And there's only a window of.
wearing the socks with the Birks that are cute. No,
I would literally just throw up in my mouth.
lock it.
I can't ever. I was a
It's
90s
a specific
kid.
look. It's a specific. You can't
Not
do
for.
it all
I
the
can't
time.
pull it off.
You can't do it all the time, but it's a very specific look, and it depends also on where
Yeah.
you're going. I think.
I love it on other people, but when I look down, it was like the slides, like the Puma slides. Maybe it's my Hobbit feet, not sure, but it
I
just
have
doesn't
fat feet as well.
work for me.
I have a
don't do-
confession.
Yeah,
I just started wearing my oldest is 13 and he's taller than me.
his shoes.
And I just started wearing his Crocs.
Yeah.
All right, so my husband wears Crocs,
Ugh.
and
Okay.
he has house Crocs and
That-
going out Crocs.
I don't have going out Crocs. They'll always be house Crocs until my husband says until they're not your house Crocs. But I never knew. I never knew. They're comfy.
I saw headlights that you can get for them. I was going to get them for him for Father's Day.
You should.
So he can see when he goes out in the yard.
It's amazing.
Looking for a dog that's
It's
always running away.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a good. I'm gonna
Well,
put
my
that on the
my
list.
husband's grandmother has house slippers. That's what made me laugh so
Yeah.
I
hard.
have house slippers.
and a house coat.
I have 3 pair.
Your
and I
house-
have
yeah.
tons of house coats.
Yeah.
But my house coats are transitional. Like I'll wear them. Like I'll wear that I wore here today. Like I will wear that around the weekend. Like if I'm cold around the house. I
Yeah.
love a good coat again.
That's great.
That's what it's called, a
problem.
coat again.
Coat again.
Yes.
I mean, I
Coat-again.
also refer to it as my house coat and my house shoes.
Everybody
Yes.
should. It's like a robe, you know. It's like
My
your
grandmother would
walking
come home and
blanket.
put on
But
her
if the
house
neighbor
coat.
knocks at the door and they do
You feel
all the
good.
time. So Bill and
Do
Crystal,
they
if you're
really?
listening,
Oh.
all the time. I love them to death. They're
Okay.
welcome always. But
I always
you
think
know,
there's a problem when someone knocks at my
if
door.
I
and
showed up, no, it's
I'm
just
COVID PTSD.
we're
I
always
guess.
exchanging milk. The other night it was nail polish solution. It was
course.
name it,
Yeah.
buns. It was but they live literally right across the street and they have 3 kids the same age. So we're like, I just love them. But if I opened up the door like in my robe,
Yeah.
I feel like that's like crazy neighbor lady. But
Yeah.
if I have on a coat again, it's like, oh, she's chic.
Yeah.
You
Look
know?
at her.
Oh,
not-
she's chic.
She's not.
Yeah,
in
no,
pajamas.
I had an ex-boyfriend whose mother would wear her robe, and it felt highly inappropriate. It wasn't like it was just.
What kind of robe though?
But
Was
you're
it
like,
like terry cloth,
what's
or are we
happening?
talking?
Like-
She had lots of
Nighty
robes,
robes.
like nighty robes. She had some that were like satiny, but not sexy satin, but like matchy set. But where's your matchy set pajamas under it? Like, put some clothes on, sister.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's not
I hear
working.
that.
So she could use a house coat,
All right.
a coat again, if you will.
Follow him.
I'm definitely not following
Always a
up on that, but no. Well, that's really cool. Like you really just were very true to yourself,
I was very true to myself.
Yes, she was true to herself.
but still went down a path that like nobody was doing at that time, and like saw it as something like whether or not it was lucrative or not, like it was something that worked for you and got you out of a space that can easily put us all. I mean, look, post birth is like,
And then top it with COVID. Like,
no,
But I
it's
will
too,
tell
it's
you,
too much.
and this same neighbor, Crystal, will tell you. She'll be the first to tell you. I am like such a homebody. Like I actually kind of thrived.
I
during
loved COVID. We say it all the time.
Yes, because I didn't have to go anywhere. No one could just pop by. Like if my house was a disaster, I didn't have to stress about it.
Same.
Like I really love lounging. Mostly, I think because I never get a chance to.
Yeah.
But when I was home all day, I could do all the things I needed to do.
Yeah.
So I felt better about relaxing and lounging.
Yes.
Whereas right now, if I do it, like for me to do anything, it could be take my kid to baseball, it could be vacuum the floor, clean the bath, whatever. If I do anything, something else is being ignored.
Neglected.
Sure.
Like it's never taking away from downtime.
Right.
It's always something else, let alone downtime. And I certainly don't have time to go to the gym. I'm actually supposed to go walking with Crystal tonight, so we'll see how that works. But in efforts to lose my saddlebags. But
and it's already May. I thought about that. I was like,
Well, it's
oh
not May
my
yet. Let's
goodness.
slow your roll there, okay? We got a
Close.
couple. I know. I don't want to think about it.
but
I'm nowhere near.
I used to give myself a deadline of Memorial Day, and I've since moved that to
July 4th?
Yes.
I've moved it to September.
I've just moved it to never.
The holidays, it goes my birthday, which is February. February, it goes Memorial Day. And then ish around this time, I'm like, we'll just move that to July.
It's crazy.
No, I just saw a meme the other day that said, I knew summer was coming and I just kept eating anyway.
Yeah.
And I felt it so hard
I
because
know, same.
like I said, like it's not my time right now. And I'm going to blink and my kids are going to be older,
Yes.
right? As you just said, you have a 13-year-old. Like I know that. And so I just feel like one day my time will be mine again.
Yes.
And that is when I will be able to go to the gym. I mean, literally, I have tried to actually just do my Chloe Ting on YouTube. I love her. At home. And I lay my mat out. And then the first thing that happens is I have 200-pound dogs coming and running all over and poking holes in my mat with their muddy feet. And the kids are trying to do the yoga with me. And I'm like, this is lovely. Like, I'm enjoying this chaos.
Family
and it's super
time.
cute. But
Right.
I'm certainly not getting anything done.
No.
So I've just kind of resided to the fact that it's not what I'm doing right now.
Right.
So am I happy? My key takeaways here for anyone following me and feeling connected. Am I happy with my body? No, I am not. But am I like content with why my body is like this right now? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Will I make changes when it benefits me, and in a time sense, and not having to neglect something else? Absolutely. And for all the haters out there that love to comment and tell me how awful I look when I'm doing these things, like go scratch.
Yeah.
I equate this to like
quite
a
honestly.
serial killer mentality of when you wake up that day, like that's really what you think about saying or doing.
Unreal.
It's just off the fucking chart. Sorry.
My
but
grandmother would say,
drives me nuts.
they're more to be pitied than talked about.
Yes. I
Because
get it.
obviously
We're in
they
like,
feel like shit about themselves.
Yeah.
And the only way for them to get over that
Is to reach out to you.
make somebody else feel like shit. Because it takes effort to stop. I had a man today. I blocked him right away. Wasn't even responding to him. I had a man today on Instagram, which is very rare. Normally my haters all come from Facebook. And a man on Instagram today comment on my reel and say, so we're 40 and just getting dressed in front of people now, I guess, right? And I thought, you are so not my target audience.
Yeah.
Why
What are you
are you
doing?
What are you
even
doing?
stopping
Right. Yeah.
on my page and taking the time to open up my reel and hit comment
And
type
comments.
out your ridiculous
Weird.
thoughts
Weird.
and hit send.
Right.
Like, thanks for the engagement, pal, because all you did was boost and now
me.
you're just going to see more of it because now it's going to be in your so joke's on you.
Thank
Just
you, algorithm.
keep scrolling.
Yeah,
Like, it is
move
not
on.
They can't do it.
difficult.
They
No.
can't do it.
And so, like, but when you hear those things about yourself, you're like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
I know that this looks like this. Or people are like, oh, just tuck it in or don't tuck it in. Pick one. And I'm like, my response was, I will style this as I best see fit. What works for my body. I'm trying to hide what I'm trying to hide. And there are people out there who are looking for that as well.
100%.
They are also saying, I've got the mom pouch.
The
What do I
pouch,
do?
yes. But
I'm
I
like,
don't want it to
throw
hit
on
here. Yeah.
The high-waisted baggy.
Look.
Just just lean into the high-waisted. Because guess what? I'm never going micro mini. It's not in the cards for me.
No,
not
God, the thought of that especially, is even worse.
Paris Hilton jeans, remember that?
Oh my God,
yeah.
yes, with the whale tail. Do you remember the whale tail? I never wore the whale tail, but
I didn't either.
I remember
my mother would
so
have
badly
beat me.
I didn't have a chance. I had
like Janko jeans. My husband says that when I wear my baggy jeans, my Janko jeans, and I'm like, oh, forget it.
I came down to that. My husband's like, you look like a 14-year-old going to the rave. I would try to slim those legs. Pant legs, not my legs. He wasn't saying that. He's like, you look a little off.
No, that's what he says. Yeah. They're so baggy.
Yeah.
And I'm
I
like,
love
listen.
them.
Yeah.
So
but you're taller.
But they're like sweatpants too. Like because they're so big.
Right. Yeah.
I
I'm
just
on
look
a hunt
ridiculous.
so I know my inseam. Do you know your inseam? That's like my biggest tip for people is they'll say things to me about the length of the jeans, and I'm like, you've got to learn your inseam. So it's really simple. You're going to take a tape measure, and you're going to put the one end in your crotch, and measure what hits the floor.
That's your inseam.
The other one I think is nice to know is your ankle bone, because really, if you're going to wear a jean, it should either touch the ground or touch your ankle bone. I mean, obviously, there's exceptions to every rule. If you're wearing like a kitten heel, the jean can brush the top of your foot, which if you're in flats, it almost looks like you're waiting for the flood, right? So I don't love that look. So I'm actually on the perfect hunt for like a 30-inch jean because I do want that touch the ground like
same
kind of
that's
look
what I wanted these
without
today.
It being ridiculous.
Well, here's my other issue is like I love these jeans, but when I want to wear them with sneakers, I need just a little bit of a different length. So if somebody could just make like the Velcro bottom so you can just move it up or move it down with like a wedge or a sneaker or a flat, but you want that jean, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Or just buy that jean in 2 different inseam lengths.
Look, I don't have the
Shannon is as
cheap as a fuck.
So then you would appreciate my capsule wardrobe.
I do appreciate. I do appreciate.
We're just gonna buy.
I literally like when you're scrolling on Amazon at night, I am scrolling the cheapest versions of what is in my head. So if you keep scrolling, it gets sometimes more expensive, the same item, or less expensive depending on how long you've actually looked at it.
So do you know about the photo trick?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you put it into Amazon? They do it too?
You can do Amazon and Google.
Yeah.
Yep. So you can upload the photo. And then that will at least help
It's
you
become like a
identify that
hunt,
same...
though. Now it's like a hobby.
I know. And it's not super effective all the time either. Like a lot of times I'm disappointed with the results.
Of
I
what
want
you
more.
find?
Yeah, I want more.
Are you hunting your own things on Amazon?
I do.
So you go on there and you just order like 5 blue shirts.
Yeah, like what
and
does your day look like?
The one that you,
how does it process?
I'm dying to know how you have time to do this with your children and your teaching and your husband.
So
how many hours do you sleep at night?
I don't sleep a lot. I'm averaging going to bed around midnight, sometimes like 12:30. I will go up earlier with the intention of going to sleep.
Yeah.
But then that's the only time I really have. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is. I'm not proud to say this, but it's all I could do right now because I am still working a 7-hour teaching job.
Yeah.
So when I get home, unfortunately, a lot of times it's like, and like yesterday, I think was like a 3-hour grind of filming content. Like I came right home from school. I went right up to my room, which is currently also my filming studio because I have a nice house. It's a good size. We've put
aesthetically
a lot of,
pleasing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. If you ever walked in though, you would be like, why? Just there's just
again why I don't want people knocking on my door
everywhere. And
we know why you have children.
We have children.
Well, and to an extent, yeah. And then the rest of it is like.
And you have dogs, and you're busy.
Dogs destroy everything.
Well, they make it look
I just don't have the storage. Like we don't have closets, and every room has a closet. And I've taken over 2 of them. I mean, I have a Poshmark shop in my 5-year-old's bedroom. I feel terrible. Like they should have their own little spaces, right? But I really don't have room. So
great.
It's just thrown everywhere. I put it on my stories the other day. I don't know if you guys saw it, but a lot of people were like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, "I know, it's a problem." And I purge like weekly. It's insane. But so that was yesterday. I knew that I had to get a lot of stuff shot. So I went home right from work and I blinked and it was 6 o'clock. I didn't even post last night actually for the first time in forever because I normally try to post by 6:30 and I wasn't ready. I had nothing prepared because all I did was film for 3 hours.
Wow.
I'll blink and be like, "Oh my god, what's happening?" And then
you have to edit.
And then I have to edit it all. So then like my husband took my oldest to baseball practice and I had the little 2. And so like I'll be playing with them or bopping around with them or doing whatever, trying to like while they're occupied, I'll sit down and I'll start to maybe edit some stuff. And then on the couch at night, like my husband and I are watching TV and I'm just on my phone like doing stuff. Like it's because it's tight. Like you have deadlines.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Damn. It's a lot.
It is a
and
lot.
So
It's a
then I go up
grind.
early with the idea of going to bed, and then I will be like, you know what? This is stupid. I'm awake. I could definitely
Work.
do this
Right.
for the next hour. And then I wake up at 6 and I start my day all over again.
Yeah.
It's the grind of
And
it
6
all.
is pushing it. I've got it down to a science. Like I can get ready for work in like 25 minutes.
Isn't that the best?
Start to finish. Yeah.
It is the best.
It is.
Do your kids, are they all, what grades are they in?
So the little one is in like pre-K 3. Like he has one more year of pre-K next year, and then he'll go right to kindergarten.
Okay.
My 5-year-old is in TK because he missed the cutoff for kindergarten this year. So he's in kindergarten next year, and then my oldest is in 1st grade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're right
Yeah.
in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's not an easy time.
no.
No.
And they're very good. I have to say, they're very good. They're very active. Like, I wish I had screen time kids. Like, all these people are like, oh my God, screen. And I'm like, here. I've fully charged your iPad. Watch anything you want. I've downloaded all of the inappropriate apps that capture your interest. And they're like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. And then they sit down, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, what is that noise? And I'll look, and it'll just be the iPad playing. And I'm like, where are they? And it'll be
Setting your
pouring
kitchen on
rain out,
fire.
and they'll be
Yeah.
on the trampoline.
Yes.
Or
Their
climbing
boards,
up on
yeah.
their jungle gym, or riding their bikes, playing baseball, like you name it.
That's
Like they're
amazing.
very active, but they're very wholesome. I call them 80s kids. Like I feel like I grew up playing kick the can out in the
Yes.
street,
Yep.
and I feel like that's what they'd be doing if I didn't live on like a busy road.
Yeah.
You know, like they're
Yeah.
just it's constant. They eat, sleep, and breathe, just like
Activities.
sports and activity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, they want to run.
Yeah.
That's what boys are the best like that. They just want to go.
yeah,
And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not good.
yeah.
But for the
I just
most
need a
part,
minute. I'm like,
Keeps
please
you
sit
young,
down and watch
right?
can a
this
girl
movie.
just
Yeah.
get a
Please
minute?
just watch this movie.
Yeah.
I just need 2 hours.
They
Like, I
will.
will cuddle with you. I want to be with you. I don't want to like go and do something and have you like just like I will cuddle, but it's just impossible. I'll get like
No.
6 minutes out of them, and then they're like on to the next. Even if it's building magnetiles, like it's all good things.
Yeah.
But they're very active, and I am very tired.
Yes. So when you're not momming and teaching and blogging and filming, what is
Drinking.
your favorite? All right, fine. Let's go there. What is your favorite?
What is your
cocktail
drink?
Or wine?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Break it down,
So,
girl.
Do it.
I am.
I feel like there should be like an analyzing of
I
this.
am
What do you
waiting
choose?
for the day that she hears me and that Kim
Oh.
Crawford gives me a partnership. Because
Ah,
nothing would be
Sauvignon
more
Blanc.
authentic than this partnership.
We'll
yes.
tag her
I
in it
could
for
get
sure.
behind the authenticity of that. Of that.
And so I found her in Disney. Actually, we went to Epcot 7 years ago. Actually, because my first was a baby, and it was the Wine and Food Festival,
Yes.
and we didn't know, so we were like, oh my God! And I went and I
That's
got
a
this
happy surprise.
right, and I
Yeah.
got this little paper dish of duck confit, and they paired it nicely with Kimmy C's Sauvignon Blanc, and I tried it, and I fell in love with her.
It
In
is
that
a
moment,
delicious Blanc.
and I've never like looked back. I do sample others, but what I now know is actually from I went to this bar, restaurant, tapas joint in Hoboken with one of my old coworkers, and I learned that the New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc is very different. So it is not that I am bougie at all. Like I don't need the very expensive. It's just that I like that type of Sauvignon Blanc. It has grapefruit undertones
Yes.
because of like the acidity in the soil. Whereas any other Sauvignon Blanc from France or Italy or California, it all has a more minerally like. I don't want to say woody because I just said minerally, but like almost that like Chardonnay kind of a taste
Yes.
that I don't really enjoy.
It's not your
particularly.
jam.
And like in the summer, I love to put like a raspberry lime seltzer in it, and it's like a citrus explosion.
What?
It's like the best spritzer.
Ooh,
you've
I
ever
love a
tasted.
good
It's so
spritzer.
delicious. Yeah, like if I need to like make it, like if I need to make strides
Like-
that
like-
day,
yeah.
I'll cut every
To
glass
hydrate.
down
Hydrate.
to hydrate
Yeah.
to
Strategy.
prolong the
This is
experience.
strategy
It
right
makes
here.
sense to
This
me.
is a good strategy session.
I
But I
love
also
that.
love
Yeah.
a good margarita.
Yes.
I also love Hendrick's gin with muddled cucumber and mint. So my husband hates me because every time we go out, my first question is, "Do you muddle?" And he's like,
Oh,
Have you tried the Hendrick's gin with what you just said and a tiny bit of elderflower?
probably."
They make it at Albarino. It's
So funny.
like
I just found out about that for the first time the other day.
it's great.
I might have to try that because I do love elderflower. I've had like some,
But you can't put
concoctions
too
like
much.
that,
It's kind of like when you put too much Aperol into a spritz.
which I don't like.
You need to put like a splash, almost like
Yeah.
an in and out with like a martini.
Yeah.
Like it's delish.
In and out.
Yeah.
My husband will appreciate that. In and out. He's listening to this. No, but my wedding drink, actually, I called it the Shipwrecked. And the venue I got married at had this like sister restaurant next to it. So when we signed our, like we're going to have it here, we went across the street to have a drink to celebrate. And it was Hendrick's gin with club soda, a splash of fresh lemonade, and like a squeeze of lime juice.
Oh, I'd get down with that.
yeah.
But then also like muddled mint. and maybe there's cucumber in it or something like that. And they were able to do it for me because it was easy to just bring everything over because they already make it there. And it's my favorite thing ever. So that's what I try to get when I go out.
Yeah, that sounds really
If I'm
good.
like drinking.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, like really going at
Right.
it. What's your favorite restaurant right now? Because I know they all change. Like, what's your good old standby? And what's
We
like
never
your
go out.
favorite?
I was gonna say I don't think I do know my answers. Yeah.
We order rainbow sushi as often as he will allow me to.
Okay.
Because it is, since we moved down here, we had the best place ever in Hoboken. Shout out to Ayame. And
Where's Rainbow?
Rainbow is in by Acme.
In Lincroft?
Yeah.
How have I not?
It's next to like Cyrus and Rite Aid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to
And,
travel down that way.
Like, no one has had better salmon than Ayame in Hoboken. When we moved down here, we kept trying all these places, and I was like, oh, like it was just like warm, or it was mushy, or it was tiny,
like
or whatever.
slimy sometimes.
Yeah. And we got this, and I'm like, this is it.
All right.
Like, this is it. Like, I
Isn't
feel
it
like
crazy
I'm
when you
Ayame.
find your sushi
And they're
place?
big, and I just absolutely love it. So every night, I'm like, do you want to order sushi? We get JJ's a lot. They have the poke bowls, which are like super, super delicious and like really fresh. I don't know. I've been twice. I'm not bougie, but I will spend the money. I am obsessed with Butcher Block.
Yes.
Oh.
I don't know if you've
Yes.
had
It's delicious.
a chance to. Like, it is the best steak I've ever had in my entire life.
I agree.
I'm not a steak person, but everybody I know
I'm
is.
not either.
And I
Yeah.
like it bloody.
Me too. I do like
But it's
blood.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, holy mackerel.
Have you had the steak at Copper Canyon
I don't even know where Copper Canyon is.
in Atlantic Highlands?
No.
Do it. Do it.
Really?
Yes. I don't know what they do. There's a rumor that they soak it in milk. I think it's a lie. But whatever they do, it's the first steak I've ever had that I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
I ate the whole thing. And then my stomach was like, this was not a good idea. But my brain was very, very happy. And they have spicy margarita.
Oh, I love Centrada's got a mean
Yes,
spicy
they
mug.
do. And fun fact, just learned it last week. May or may not have made some bad choices after. But they have $1 tacos for their happy hour.
What?
$1. They're tuna on like a tuna
The tuna
tostada.
ahi kind of a thing.
Yeah, so it's all raw,
Yeah.
delicious. They have the chicken tinga and then like a beef.
Oh
Yum.
my gosh.
$1 tacos.
That's insane.
$20 cocktails.
It's,
but
listen,
balance.
it's a trade-off.
That's
is.
okay.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah.
It
It's like the free
absolutely
pizzas at Johnny Mac's, right?
Yes.
It's like,
love that too.
Yeah.
although they're not as expensive as
No.
Centrada.
No, but they also get very mad at you if you go with a large group and you all go back to retrieve your
How can they get mad at you? I would think
I
that
don't
would
know.
be like every night of
Right.
the week.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, this was amazing.
This was great.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming
goes so
on.
fast.
And well, look, we always say, you know, when the right kind of female sitting in that seat, it's like a conversation that you don't want to end.
Yeah.
And it goes so fast because if we had a cocktail here, we probably wouldn't leave. Ethan wants to go home
Forget
He
it.
does. He
and
has
has a
another-
life of his own. But we loved hearing your story.
you. Thank
And
you.
I know that there are going to be, like myself, so many women that resonate with what you're doing. And it takes a lot of courage to put yourself on there.
Thanks.
It does. And people who are undermining it, I don't want to say that they're assholes, but
They are.
But we could say that they're
They are.
Yeah.
But you know, my biggest takeaway, and it's really funny because this is, I've been having conversations. There's been these students that don't have the best track record at school, and they've been coming in to see me. I'm like their new spot now for an hour in the middle of the day. They will eat their lunch with me, and they will spend their study hall with me, and I give up my bathroom breaks to do it because they clearly need that. They need me, and for that hour, they're staying out of trouble. So if that is what I can provide to them, right? So my whole MO, and just my personality, whether it's my teaching philosophy or this blog, is quite literally to help or inspire just one person the way that I was. Because Amanda from Almost Ready blog has no idea that she kept me out of a very dark place by simply posting a new Target lounge set. But it meant so much more to me because it like snowballed into so much more.
yeah.
And so when I hear these people come out and say, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see that you're a hot mess or that you have these 3 boys, whatever, that's it for me. I'm like, wow, like if I'm the one you're watching at night and it's helping you forget about what happened today, then I'm doing my job.
And giving you confidence.
And you asked about this earlier. Emma Grace blog came because after what happened to my youngest son, I had 4 pregnancies. I lost the second, and I was convinced that was the girl.
Okay.
And I've never felt inclined to buy something during a pregnancy before, like before I knew the gender. And I went out and I bought like some girl things because I knew knew unequivocally this was my girl. And then I lost the pregnancy, and then I had a boy, and then I had a boy, and then that happened.
Okay.
And my husband said, I think we're flying too close to the sun trying. Because listen, people are going to judge me too for saying this, but it's like, I was trying for a girl. I would have loved a little girl to be in my niche. You know, I would not give up one of my sons.
That's not what it means.
You know, but like everybody was like, I wasn't trying, like whatever.
You're
it is what it
allowed.
is. I would have loved to have a girl.
Same.
And I didn't. And we felt like it was God's way of being like, enough is enough.
Right.
I took her here, and then, you know, this happened, so you should just stop with this and move on to your next chapter.
Right.
And so I channeled all of the energy that a fourth child probably would have done, like take it like into the Emma Grace blog. And that is where her name came from, because it would have been Emma Grace. If
Well, I love
if had a girl.
Beautiful.
And it is a beautiful name.
Full circle.
Yeah.
So thank
That
you
is
so
the
much for
perfect
having
note
me.
to end
Yes,
on.
thank you.
I
Thanks
think,
for
thank you,
coming.
Kelly,
This
for
was
sharing your
nice.
story. Keep sharing it. It's totally touching thousands of people and women, and fuck the haters.
Thank you. And I love you too. I want to go have spicy margs now.
Look, it's only 4
going.
o'clock. I got a
I
babysitter.
love that. I'm down for that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We'll have you back for sure.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.